Right. So, hi, everyone. Welcome to the 11th and last episode of season 11 of Productized Podcast. In the season, we were talking about the future of our cities and their possible digital transformation. Our mission is the same from the very first episode back in 2017 when we started podcasting to inspire people to impactful action. And my name is André Marquis. I'm your host. In this episode, we come full circle and we'll be talking with Egle Radvile. Egle is the Digital Futurist Angel, author of Vilnius Digital Strategy. And Egle was in the position of the Vilnius City Municipality as a CTO from 2018 until 2021. Currently, she's the head of the Lithuanian CIO Club, CIO.LT, Digital Train Board, and Harvard Digital Program member. Egle has a PhD in Information Engineering and Technology, and she recently graduated from Harvard leading Digital Innovators program. Welcome, Egle. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine. Just amazing. Waiting for questions.
Great. So maybe we can jumpstart into this current crisis that we're living in. As we know, Lithuania is bordering Russia and Belarus. And the question I have is, are you worried about the current situation?
We are worried about Ukraine, of course. We are helping a lot. And I'm personally training people for maybe 10 years for be prepared for this situation. So we feel quite safe and just living our lives.
So you tell me you were kind of preparing for the situation?
We always are, because we have volunteer organization like Gediminas Legion, and the main mission is to create situations like testing people, what if, and it's civilian tests. So we are working on that. So we're not so afraid. Maybe we're not afraid of anything. And this is a situation like that. It's not new, and so we're not afraid. Be sure.
All right. So for those that might not know, you are also the head of the Gediminas Legion, which is the Lithuanian cyber crazy people, and I'm just quoting here, volunteering organization. And you were working in Ukraine, in Kyiv, in Busha. And this organization existed before the war started, like you were mentioning. So how was it founded? And why was it founded? Okay, because for lots of people, what is happening nowadays was rather unexpected, but obviously not for you.
I was living with the storytelling of my grandma about Second World War. So I was like always thinking, what if? And then started doing all these testing ceremonies. One of the biggest was in Vilnius City. We asked our citizens to come and to just be a volunteer from cyber side and from phishing side, from IT side. We had 70 volunteers, and we have hundreds of other of our city, other companies. So it was like huge event one early Sunday morning, and we were preparing for our Belarus Astrov or wherever a Russian attack. But it was like training city, and it was 2019 summer, and then COVID came, and this 70 was 7,000 volunteers, and these people were helping from computers, schools, wherever, remote works, everything, like how to install Zoom or where to found a new computer. So we call it Legion of Gediminas, and then we were working a lot in Ukraine, we created Mariupol's cyber network before the war, and now we are working in Kiev like volunteer organization. Of course, not just in Kiev, but the main office is in Kiev. So it was a story.
I understand. And how is the organization different from other organizations actively founded? I understand also in Lithuanian soil to provide humanitarian help to Ukraine.
First of all, just because we were working a few years ago and never stopped working, in Ukraine we know a lot of culture here, what's working, where to go, where not to go. And we are working with technological and cyber. And of course, we more or less are alone here in Ukraine because nobody wants to go there. And so we are working.
Do you actually, Egle, do you actually need to go, or because of the nature of this cyber help, most of the help is done via the internet, right? You don't actually need to be.
If it is no internet, so you cannot connect.
There's no internet connectivity in part of Ukraine.
Yes, there is no. But we are also working with humanitarian evacuation, and how we started. So we got a message from Mariupol's kindergarten, and they asked us help and evacuate. So we did it, of course, and then we started evacuated people from Ukraine, destroyed places to border with Poland, and then we agree with embassies from Lithuania and Ukraine that we will care about food, humanitarian help, and with technological help and with evacuation. So we're working also here, and yes, there is no people that wanted to evacuate, so we are trying to help.
So when you speak about technology help, what kind of technological help are you providing? Are you, I don't know, providing a Starlink communication, satellite dishes? What kind of tech help is there?
Mostly drones, and just a lot of configuration, a lot of simple help, and a little bit of data, a little bit of analysis, just trying to do what we're doing every day here in Vilnius, just to adapt and to help, not military side, but just more or less municipalities or people.
Mm-hmm. All right. So how did you start with technology? What's your personal path towards technology? Were you always considering becoming a technologist since very early years, or were you actually thinking about other fields and ended up going in tech?
I was a person who knew that I will be a technology person from 11, and there was no question about anything else. I was dancing also ballet, but it was like my human side.
Okay.
But it was like direct. I finished IT school during my teenager, and then decided university, and then IT, no questions, and no going around, no selecting or trying. So it's in my soul, and it's my life. And
so why the passion with technology at the age of 11? What was there? I was just reading Carl Sagan's bio just before this conversation just happened, and as a matter of fact, he's actually born out of Ukrainian parents, as you might have known. So on his bio, at least according to Wikipedia, when he was a child, he visited the World Exposition in New York back in 1939, a long time ago. And that's how he got into technology and science, because his parents were very poor. They were really not scientists at all. But he got his eyes open to this world of technology by happenstance of going to this tech fair in the 1930s. Did you have this aha moment yourself, or were you educated towards?
Yes, I have. My father brought home a laptop. It was very big laptop, and I wanted to know what's inside and open it into a million pieces. And in the morning he saw it. He was very angry. And then he said that just fix it.
Okay.
So I never fixed it, but I got a lot of friends who know IT network. Then I started IT school. That was the first moment. So I was trying to understand what is inside.
Yeah. So one of those back in the day big laptops when, they were not very portable. They were just transportable somehow. Yeah, I remember those days. Okay. Nowadays, of course, you are an accomplished technologist. You have a PhD. What was your incentive to get into a PhD in this field? Are still actively lecturing at the university, if I understand right?
Yeah, I'm just like sometimes, but not during the week, just during the year maybe. I was I was not have no choice to do anything else because my family around were from PhD, so I was working at the head of IT in university, like department. So professors and others, so nobody just asked, do you want to go or not to go? So of course you should go.
Yeah.
And I was like trying or searching, maybe researching human brain waves, and I was trying to do my experiments with kids. And I cannot even imagine now on our culture, ethnoculture and biological culture, how I tried to do it. But I was like enjoying what I am doing, and it was like something like innovation. So I finished it. 6 years of PhD. It was like wow.
Wow.
And never want to try it again.
Done.
Never.
But you recently graduated, just on that segue, from Harvard University, and that was the leading digital innovators program. Why did you engage into this specific study program at Harvard University?
I should say that Bloomberg was like a mission. He had a mission to help people who are in government sector. And these people, of course, are quite unhappy because nobody can understand what they're talking, or they do not have good relationships or management skills. So he took me to this program, and we were like 10 or 12 in the class from government sector, and we were studying together, talking about the problems and so on. But the main mission was to create these people in Europe who can do policy of digitalization. Policy, I mean, like talking with different levels of people and can understand what to do and what not to do. So I was very happy because it was really very skilled program, and I think that I am quite lucky that he was like here and selected. So
can you share with us maybe any memorable insights, not necessarily from an education perspective, but from your experience at this program? Because let me just tell you that last Sunday night I was having dinner at the City Council of Lisbon here with the mayor of Lisbon, Mr. Carlos Moedas, and he's also an Harvard alumni, and he was talking about some of the stories and the great professors that happened to be in this some of these programs. So any memorable insight from yourself?
maybe building.
Okay.
It was like Bloomberg office. One of the lesson was in here. So it was like transport approximately 15 years to the future. So I was so
The building itself?
surprised. Yes, the building, the composition,
Mhm.
area, and then I understood that it's very important with whom you are studying and where you are sitting. And you can just sit and talk like in the Zoom, or you can just be a part of the future of everything. So wow, it was amazing. So it
What
was
do you
the
mean
strongest.
a part of the future? A part of the future in which sense, Agla?
I think the future of all these details. So you are sitting with this composition of architecture, and you know that this composition could be like more or less 20 years in the future in other building, because it's Bloomberg building. So you can create your own minds and to understand how you can do in your city almost the same things. So not from technology side I'm talking, but from understanding how it should be. So I was very, very surprised about this composition in the building, and it was for me very, very useful to understand. But from perspective from Harvard, like studies and all this knowledge that I got, so it was nice, but it was not so like it was something very new. He just put everything in the nice place, in right place, and that's all. So this is it. Building.
All right, buildings are important. As you know, one of Nicolas Negroponte, in his book Being Digital, is having the story, right, about the MIT Media Lab and how the building itself was not inducing happenstance of researches, because the way that the buildings are designed to allow for human interaction and happenstance, and people that, researchers, I guess, like every corporate employee, or we have the nature of, we have our jobs, we have our calls, we have our workload. And, if there's no happenstance, it's not like I'm not going to talk to you just because, right? We might actually work in the same building, sometimes in the same floor, but, there is no connection, and we might spend years without actually talking to each other. So the way buildings are designed to promote natural conversations, water cooler conversations, this kind of happenstance conversations is very important. So let's get a little bit into product. So you have been CTO of the city of Vilnius for more than 3 years. Was this position functioning in Vilnius before, or were you the very first CTO of the city?
I'm the only one.
You were the only one so far.
Yeah, so far.
Because you were working with the elected mayor from the Liberal Party, if I understand correctly, of the city. And
Yeah.
did he invite you? What's the story? How did you get to go into this position?
I was working a lot in government sector with different positions, and administrator director was from IT side, and our mayor fully understand everything about what is important with IT, and we have IT is internal IT head in municipality caring about technologies. So this administration director invited me, just come and we can talk. Then we started talking, and we made a lot of nice things together. So it was like to be in place with other IT, but not IT guys. So they are not direct IT. They are like managers, mayor, and directors. So I was like, I got a call, and I said, "Oh, nice."
Okay.
Like everything like simple like that.
And you were working directly, answering to the CEO of the city.
Yeah.
CEO of the city, meaning the mayor.
No, CIO of the city in Lithuania is our administrative director, so it's called CIO, because mayor is political person, but this is just a structure. Our mayor is also talking with CEOs and CTOs and on the same page and at the same table, so it's no problem at all. And he's really amazing with communication and with empathy. So
nice. So that was good. Why did you leave the position?
We decided that all these initiatives that we made with our team and with our municipality are really very nice, and these initiatives should be projects and then should be like services, and these initiatives were very innovative. And we decided to create a department and to put these initiatives into a special department of innovation and data in our municipality company. So now I'm like I created, now I should explore everything and to create projects. So I'm not moved. We create a company for these projects.
So you did the spin-off, and you are now running like a startup for exploring city data and creating a product around data for cities.
Yeah, and it's as like we had this company like Vilnius Planas before, so we changed everything, and now we are working here like CTO, whatever it calls. So we are caring about data and innovations, but not just like from political side, but from doing side. So we should do everything. We have a drone center here. We have analytics team from innovation and Internet of Things and so on. So I'm very proud of this because it's like continuity of everything we started from 3 years ago.
All right. And during your tenure as the CTO of the city of Vilnius, you were also the creator of the so-called Vilnius Digital Strategy. Can you tell us more? What is this charter for the Vilnius Digital Strategy?
Okay, we understood that we have a lot of different initiatives, and these initiatives are from my IT side, but they're not connecting with simple things like transport, mobility, sport, environment, and so on. So I thought that it would be nice to have central, like in the center should be human, and he should be very happy human. And so we made these 3 KPIs like happy, time, it's like say time limit per day. So you have to have all your time for yourself, not standing in the traffic jam or going by car or with your kid 7 or 10 kilometers. And that was about health. And it was the start of digital policy, because everything what we are doing should be connecting with each other and should be made by technology if it is needed, and if it is not needed, so we can do it other way. So this the strategies was the push of new Vilnius strategy. We connect all these strategies, and then we made a data policy, Internet of Things policy, of course, drone policy. And I think that this Vilnius 2 strategy changed a lot. And now we are where we are now. So it's good. I'm proud.
All right. So maybe just for some of the listeners trying to understand what was there before? What was the situation before 3 or 4 years ago, and what is the current situation now? What has actually changed in practical terms for the city and for the life of the citizens of the city?
We were first with open data 4 years ago, and it was like pioneers. We are doing something with open data, and then we implement everything into normal life. So technology not self-orientated. First, we have to create service policy, like to understand how we are working, our team, our people, citizen, what is different is from the different age or different generation. So what I wanted to say that it's not about devices, about special projects, because I can say that we won last year that place of Vilnius of innovation capital. So a lot of different innovation, but I want to say that technology or strategy of technology could be the background of everything, and we made a lot of work with these managing things. So difference our city like working every day, decision made by data, so data driven, and we have a lot of nice simple services like do not go everywhere. We have online, everything online, of course, maps, a lot of data, automatization, trees, and we are like managing these trees from our centers. So a lot of automatization was made here, and I think so like that. So I can talk a lot of, but so I wanted to say that technology is not about technologies. Technology is about human.
Of course, but it's also about more efficiency. It's also about providing services that were not possible before, because suddenly you can do at the fraction of the costs. A good example.
I can give an example. For example,
right.
We have waste management problems. Every city has waste management problem. So we are working with drones, scanning every day, and we're using machine learning, sometimes artificial intelligence, to understand how these containers could be changed, or how car could be organized by a different way. We're not putting Internet of Things devices into containers.
You are not.
No, we're looking from the sky. So it's
because that's, from what I know, that's a very novel way to look at the problem, which is
Internet of Things.
What you're doing, right? Using drones.
Yes, and of course mobility.
I've done, at least here in Lisbon, is they actually did that. So every container has an IoT device, and what you're telling me is that you are actually using drones, and like flying drones passing by the city. Is this what is happening? You're using this pattern flying, and they then, by statistical analysis with a combination of artificial intelligence and data, you guys are able to understand that. So why did you go into that approach? Is it because it's more efficient than having an IoT device in every single container, or is it just more effective? What's the strategy there?
When we finished our digital strategy, we had like new policies. One of the policies was Internet of Things, and we are analyzing how we can manage our data. Then we started data policy, and so it's like everything is planned. So we are using drones because we are not using a lot of the Internet of Things devices, so sensors or something, because it's cheaper to have the way we are working. So we have drone centers, people who are working with drones, automatization with drones, and we're analyzing data because it's changing every time. So we need to have mobility plans to understand how people are working or driving or whatever they're doing. So, for example, we need to inspectize the city for different reasons. So we decided to have drones because it's cheaper, more effective, and it was like simple way. We of course started with a lot of nice services like delivering medicine and so on, but it was like initiatives, and then COVID came, so we were expertising in the city. We had this voice around that please do not go, or other things. We doing analysis from for old roof and so on. So now it's like simple service, and I don't even know why exactly we started with this, but it was like deciding it was a little bit cheaper than not to put everything different type of device.
All right, I think that's a very interesting way to tackle the issue. Are you somehow working on it now, or having in mind that you are no longer in the CTO position? Are you still actively working on some of this developments in the startup that you have created to explore some of these technologies?
Yes, sure. Here I have this whole department. So
that's the actual headquarters of your company.
And this is 10 meters from municipality. So we are like every Monday we are saying what we did to our mayor.
Are you still working with them?
Yes, every day.
But has a private company,
it's not private company, it's our municipality special company. And our municipality decided to create this spin-off in his own area.
Oh, okay. So the spin-off belongs to the municipality, like a startup that belongs to the municipality. Sorry, it's mind-blowing to me to hear such a concept. Like municipalities here definitely not actively engage into being shareholders of private startups. But that makes lots of sense. And one of the things, and it makes sense to me, because one of the things that municipalities always struggle is finding talent like yours, right? Finding high quality talent, and of course, I guess people like you have a mission, are mission driven, so, and impact driven. So you're probably doing a trade-off between what you can get in the private sector and what you can get in the public sector. But at the end of the day, we are all rational economic agents. So if it's not sustainable in the long run, it's not sustainable. How are from your experience, how can cities tackle this issue of talent competition, and having talented, skilled people inside their organizations that can actually engage in this very high-tech, leading, state-of-the-art technology? Because otherwise people will just jump into the private sector, and then municipalities, and not just municipalities, but they have all these contracts with private private contractors and consulting companies, but at the end of the day they don't have a product vision, right? They lack the technological perspective to have enough deep tech insights, and by outsourcing that, they also outsource vision. And I think it's very important not to outsource vision, because when you are outsourcing vision, you are also outsourcing strategy, and you cannot really deliver the most of the value to the citizens. So how do you tackle this balance?
I think the most important thing is main team, because when you have mayor who's really direct supporting these visions, and then these departments who they can do almost everything, and then the team who can, I don't know, drive any innovation here in Vilnius. So this is the best place to be here, because wherever you can imagine that you can do here. So it's like amazing thing. For example, we decided that we can that our new generation should learn IT as must language. So we did it, and we have like now prototype for schools, like 200 children. They are like
Learning how to code.
No, code is for school. Now
Okay.
they are learning cyber
Okay.
and NFT.
Cybersecurity.
Yes,
Okay.
cybersecurity.
Web3.
Then NFT, esport, and artificial intelligence. So
Which grades are from which ages are you teaching these concepts?
now we are trying with 8, 9, and 10 class, but the mission is from 5th class to 12th class, because after this they should be just normal IT person, and then they can create their own life, art, wherever, medicine, but with skilled from themselves. So let's go back to your question. So when I'm trying to get person to be here, like new colleague, so, and I'm talking what we are doing here with this innovation, so always the answer is yes. So we're not so far away from private, but we are on the system that we can change the system. So it's very nice.
I guess the company that you are working for right now is essentially working as a private company, so you can you can set your own salaries, and even if you don't have stock options, maybe people can have some kind of vesting into the company. Yeah, that's such an exciting move. So what you're saying is that in the city of Vilnius, the actual municipality is actively engaging the public schools to help them put on the curriculum topics such as advanced IT topics like cybersecurity, Web3, artificial intelligence, and so on.
Yes.
Wow. And yeah, I mean, wow. I mean, those are really interesting topics.
After 10 years, they will come into the life, and they will be, wow, they will be so smart.
But the fact that the actual municipalities is taking the lead towards that, and not the national education ministry or the Ministry of Education, is quite surprising. Don't you have a clash between the Lithuanian National Ministry of Education and what is the authority of the Vilnius city?
Okay, so we are adding this lesson, like additional lesson, and when we are
it's like an optional class that kids can have, or
yes, it's an optional, but option is one.
Like you have to opt out. You don't have to opt in, right?
So and this is okay.
Out.
So you have to find the way how to do it, because yes, of course, we can say, oh, it's national minister business, so we cannot do anything. Let's sit and wait. So, and it will never gonna happen. So we are thinking how we can manage it. Let's try. So these students, they talking about crypto. So they're talking about how to hack, and so it's amazing, and it's nice.
All right. So one of the things that I got from our very first guest, Yusuf Petronis, that I believe worked with you, he told me how um, your vision for mobility was also different, a little bit out of the box, if you allow me. So he told me that when I was speaking with Agla, and she was such an inspirational force because she was talking about mobility. And of course, now everyone is talking about the so-called 15-minute city or 15-minute concept by Carlos Moreno. But I guess back in the day, what you told them is like, if you want to improve mobility, the best way that we can do that is by tackling the school system and having schools that are good, so that parents don't have to move around. And I was reading the newspaper, the daily newspaper here in Lisbon, one of the best newspapers here, and they just published a study here in Portugal that kids from private school, I guess this is not super surprising, but still, private school kids, they are drove twice the miles of public school kids, right? So to your point, how does improving the quality of schools will lead to better mobility patterns and the holy grail of the 15-minute city?
Okay, maybe there is a lot of different.
The question is really about
Mhm.
how does improving schools will have an effect on mobility?
Okay, so two things. One thing that Maya already did it, so they put directors of the school to a special management university. So now we'll see what is gonna happen, because it's the same thing that you are talking now. To make just the better management system and maybe expect, but other thing what we
Sorry, can you just explain a little bit better? So the city is paying for the school headmasters to go to a business management training program?
Yes.
Okay, and the idea is to level their managerial skills?
Yes, because normally they are like language teacher, or like math teacher, or
Right.
super sport teacher. So how they can make the school amazing if they don't know how to manage people, how to manage communication and other things. So this is very important, because first of all, it should be a good manager, and then I want to let my son to the school near my house, not to 20 kilometers away, just because all these schools could be the same. So, and this is the mobility problem solved. So we don't need application or new traffic light system or managing drones, how we are like moving. So let's do perfect school near your house. So
that's a very ambitious objective. How bullish are you that you can accomplish that? Because we're talking about essentially public schools, right? How bullish are you that the city can actually accomplish that? Are you confident? Like in 5 years, in 10, maybe it's going to take 30, I don't know.
Yeah, but it's okay. It can take 10 years, but you can start now. And we started it, yes, a few years ago. And now what we can do it. So now we can managing data, understand maybe we can have extra stops or change everything. So we are doing it like right now. But looking forward, you have to change the system of thinking. And also we are thinking about these schools like buildings. So these directors also caring about these buildings. So why? So they need to be interested in the system, how to organize all this school daily life, not to be like a superhero about window who's not working. So but step by step we are changing it, and it's of course long term, but not maybe not so quick result.
Mm-hmm. So one of the measures is making, I'm just quoting you here, how to make the schools amazing if you're not a manager. So you're training them to be better managers. And the second one is?
That you just let these managers to be managers, not
So
superheroes.
Right. You don't force them to be doing everything else. You allow them to have the time to focus on their management practice.
We call it a human orchestra, to do everything. So you could be a very good manager, but it's impossible to understand everything like empathy and building system, engineering and electricity. And so, wow. So simple two things about mobility.
That's really, I was really not expecting such a
technological way.
Yeah, to be honest, I was not. I was expecting it's just one of those things that you're saying, but there's very little that you can do. Or once you start doing it, maybe you're just pouring money into the problem. But I think the way that you are approaching is, okay, no, I really need to give better, retool the professor, retool the managers, and allow them to be better managers, and then just let them grow organically into better schools is something which I find very, very interesting. So recently you have participated in the LUC 2022 conference, and your speech was about Vilnius Plan, Mission Data, a practical Vilnius city innovation. So what is this Vilnius Plan about, and who is working on it, and what will it actually improve in the lives of the citizens of the city for the next years? What's the vision here?
Okay, so this Vilnius Plan is this spin-off that we are talking about. So these drone centers for innovations. So now we are responsible for data, Internet of Things innovations, and so on. So our vision is that we have 3 floors city map, and this 3 floors is underground, ground, and drone second floors, streets, and environment. So we are working on data, collecting data from everywhere, from our municipality companies, from our open data, from registers of our Lithuania, and so on. So, and then we are doing a lot of different analysis, but the most important thing that we want to create this intelligent twin, we can call it, to understand.
They're called the digital twin, they also called, right?
Digital twin is so old, then it's smart, and then it's intelligent, so it's different
levels.
So
it's just like a city simulator or something like that.
It could be like that, but we want to understand more about people mood. So about how they're feeling, why they are feeling.
So it's like playing The Sims, the game.
I love it.
Were you a fan of the game when? I guess you were not, because after your laptops, your dad's laptop was torn over. There was no more gaming for you for a while.
I was playing Counter-Strike. That's why I am with this case in Ukraine as well.
Okay, you were playing Counter-Strike. Good one. All right, so you're talking about intelligent twin, and that's the vision. You really want to build an intelligent twin where can go as deep as citizens' moods. Isn't that a little bit borderline Big Brother-esque?
Yeah, it could be like that. If I am talking, if our mayor talking, is political, so it sounds a little bit more sweeter. But the idea is to understand how we should work better. Because if you are like doing some analysis from data or dashboards, so you cannot understand what is going on. For example, if we have like scanners around the streets, like 5 years, maybe less, we are scanning faces. Everything is okay with GDPR, but we can understand how people in different years on the city feeling now. So my idea is to understand how we can change our daily work or like strategy to put this mood a little bit up. So this is the main thing. But
how do you evaluate the mood? So people are smiling and hey, NPS 10, or people are happy, and people are always like feeling like this, very sad. It's going to lower the score. Is this what you're doing there?
Yes, we are doing like that, and we're analyzing, and a lot of different places saying that yes, we're right, because you don't need to have data to understand that in this area there are a lot of problems and they are not so happy. So yes, it's one of our R&D project. And what is on the top? On the top is that we want to understand city as main. I cannot even explain. You should see it, because we buildings
can you share any links with us? We'll be glad to put them on the podcast description afterwards. So if anyone is interested, they can visit your website and check it out, or video, or whatever you think fit.
Yes, I think so. Because the main idea is to have clear situation about what is going on, not to have like I think. And other mission is to have very clear prognosis about what will be. So where to build a school, where to build street, where to have extra shop, where to have like extra tree, and so on. Even we have, for example, data from our scanners about weather that we are breathing, and we want to have these tunnels from special trees to understand if I'm allergic from something. I'm just looking at this app, and I can understand that I am not going this way because there are a lot of different allergies and so on. So a lot of different things here, small things and so on. But we have to improve our communication, improve about this project information, and now we are just like trying to create other thing, and more or less we have some results.
Very well. And are you planning to sell this technology to other cities, or is this going to always be Vilnius first tech?
No, Vilnius will be first, like tester, like lab,
a living lab, so-called.
We can city lab. We have this name here about this experimentation, and thank you, citizens, that they are quite accepting everything. And yes, of course, we want to sell, and we are talking with Lithuanians, other cities, municipalities, and with some foreign municipalities. But with these technologies, there are not so much cities that can accept, because it's quite high tech or something like that, and you cannot just put this tech into the city. The city should be acceptable. The culture of the municipality, they should understand what is important or not. They need to just be sure that they want to change something. So you cannot just like buy like sell like a product and that's all.
So what are the traits that you are looking into a city council or a city management in order to qualify them to use the technology? So being at the forefront of technology, being visionary about it. What else is there?
Maybe the most important, be sure that you are caring of the city, not just being a municipality, and understand that city is not municipality. It's ecosystem of business, science, happy and unhappy people, about political situation near the borders and so on. So it's ecosystem, and you should care and help. So then you can use it. So it's everything about the understanding. Like, I don't know, it's like empathy, maybe.
Right.
First of all,
Always the human factor.
Mhm.
So you are also the head of the Lithuanian CIO Club. What is this club about, and what are the participants actually sharing there? Is it best practices or helping each other? It's like a mentors club. What's the idea behind it?
Okay, so we are like community of private and public sector, head of, not IT companies, and we're sharing knowledge, sharing friendship, sharing everything what we can share. We are working about 10 years, and we have like 17 different IT guys and some women.
And some woman. It's still in. I don't know how is the situation in Lithuania, but maybe it. I would say it's still a fairly male dominated arena ground. But on another note, you're also an expert at the Transparency Academy. What are your responsibilities as an expert there?
To push this IT sector and to push other sectors into transparency, because it's not so easy to work here in government and IT sectors. We have a lot of different problems, procurement and all these things. So I'm trying to guide people from special agencies that they are working, and also to create methods of how we can work in lobbies and so on. So I'm trying to do our country a little bit smarter and a little bit transparent.
And lower corruption and make sure that the processes are transparent. I think that's very important topic. I used to be an IT manager in the past, and I'm not anymore, as you can see. But one of the things I remember is the hiring acquisition processes, the procurement was at least suboptimal back in the day. And sometimes the procurement for IT systems is quite a lot of money, right? We're talking about sometimes millions of euros. So there's lots of pressure if you are on the position that you can say, contract goes to A, B, or C. I definitely think that there's lots of work to be done there in order to make the practice more transparent, and a very important topic there. All right, so just trying to wrap this up around maybe one thing that is very important to me. That's also one of the reasons that I started the podcast, coming here from Lisbon and trying to get this deep dive into city problems, especially towards digital, or how cities can leverage digital in any way. Can you share any great practices of how city governments in other European countries can somehow, let's say someone is listening to this podcast from a municipality here, where should they start? Should they engage with you? Should they, what is the interface in order to, I wouldn't say copy, but to drink some of the inspiration of what you guys have done in this past 4 or 5 years, and how that is transforming and bringing Vilnius into at the forefront of the cities of the 21st century?
Okay, so there is no one like list. It's a book maybe, but
you have the book already? Is it coming soon? Okay.
Good idea. Good idea.
Yeah,
I
maybe.
think that first of all, these people, young people, no, okay, I'm not so young, but it's in the government sector, it's quite young. So these people have a nice power, good power, and you should just took this power of innovation about ideas and initiatives and let them do that. And yes, maybe someone will fail, or wherever we're failing also, but and then these initiatives should be separated into nice projects and close projects, and these nice projects should be supported by everyone, and these people who are trying to do something should be like supporting by everyone. These doors should be open, otherwise they will not do anything. So this is about the people and about innovation talking. So it's very hard for me to say that 1, 2, 3, because we already 4 or 5 years of this journey, so we're thinking a little bit different. So what is really normal for us, like yes, of course, work a lot and have this innovation on the top of my daily work, and talking about this innovation into a conference and talking with these people in the yard and asking what they needed and just what they're thinking. So a lot of different things. So maybe just want a lot to change, and then trying to find these people who can change and help them, and have a good budget for that.
Yeah, well, budget definitely always helps. All right. So vision, but also wanting to change. And maybe on a more personal note, kind of always do this question in many ways, because we're always so interested about alternative scenarios, and also especially giving younger people some kind of anchor towards their future selves. So what words of advice would you give your younger self, Egle, who just graduated from high school, still playing Counter-Strike? And would you tell her, do the same, study the same university program, kind of, or would you give her any kind of advice to your younger 18-year-old Egle version?
Maybe work harder.
Work harder, even harder.
Even harder.
Right.
I don't want to change anything. I think that I have quite clear path with different experience in different period of my life, but maybe I'm not sure that I want to change anything. I think that maybe just to have more time with family. It's very simple, because it's I really work hard, and I think that I can do better, but these people around me, they are just wanting, call me, meet me. So maybe
Podcast with me. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Here to blame.
Mm.
Yes.
So I think everything is okay. So I'm quite in the good feeling about that.
All right, everything will be okay. Do you have any books or upcoming events or conferences or anything really that you would like us as a recommendation or for people listening to this? Like, oh, there's something you maybe want to throw at us.
I don't like books. I'm almost never reading books. I'm always reading articles, and I'm always checking from where are these articles. Because I am a PhD, so it's from science. So I wish everyone in these running times to read different type of articles from good author about art, about music, about trees, about sea, about sport, different, and then trying to connect everything and to create something new. So I'm doing like that, and it's helping me to find new ideas. So I wish everyone like that. And then about conference, there are thousands of conferences. So you always have to check information, who's speakers, who's organizer, and so on. So you cannot say that, okay, this is conference and you go and it will be amazing. No, nothing like that. So my message is about good information and good data, and then good innovation.
All right. Thank you, Egle. It was great having you with us. Also, thanks for joining our Productized podcast. If you enjoyed your stay, give us your review wherever you're listening to the podcast and share this episode with friends and colleagues. You will also have show notes and more episodes at productized.medium.com. Can also join our community, and we will be sharing the links in there of some of the things we spoke, including the Bloomberg Harvard program, the company of Egle, and many, many more. This podcast was hosted by me, André Marquet, with research by Evelina Bogdan and sound editing by Miguel Souza. Have a great day. Bye-bye, Egle. Have a great day.
Bye. Thank you.